All right, and we're live. It is Monday, August 23rd at 9:29 a.m. This is the kind of tips and tricks and Google Ads news and Ask Me Anythings and whatever anybody wants. Not too much in the news for Google Ads. We actually have a Slack channel set up in our company that actually we have like kind of new learnings, new updates. We share everything with the team. It's pretty cool. There is one new announcement that came over on the 19th from Google, and it's better control over smart bidding with conversion value rules. This could be good and also really dangerous at the same time. It basically allows you to set a multiplier for conversion values. And what that means is, like, let's say you have an e-commerce store, you have an ad agency, or whatever it may be, and it says, hey, if it's it's coming from this audience is actually worth like 2 times more. And the crazy part about that is it'll show like a lot more conversion value for that audience, which is really dangerous to think about. If you have like a bad agency or rogue agency that's not meeting a ROAS goal, and then they simply just turn that on and make a multiplier of 3, and then all of a sudden the campaigns look fantastic. And let's say you have 4 different channels running, like Facebook / Instagram, LinkedIn, Google Ads, and organic, whatever it may be, and you're not really sure exactly where the where the money's coming from, because it's omni-channel and your account looks good. It's just a really dangerous thing to give to people. You can do it before manually, which is with the manual, you can actually say like, hey, this conversion value was worth X, not Y, and you can actually go in and adjust a conversion value, which is something that has been around for a while, but it was a big pain. You have to upload the conversion value, you have to upload Gclid, and it's a manual thing, and there's a track record for it and everything, or a paper trail, and it was really easy and to spot and arduous to do. But now it's just like, yeah, if you want to just make all these conversions times 2, then. And it's not visible from like the home screen of Google. So that's what's really, really crazy. Hey, Cecilia, how are you? I'm doing good. How about yourself? Off to a good Monday so far. So that conversion value is pretty crazy stuff. Jones, hi John. Just say hello. Hey Jones. Oh, you have a question. Let's see. Cecilia, I have a question regarding importing offline conversions, which I have never imported before. I have read that with Gclid, you can only import conversions manually within a period of 90 days. Yes. If you try to import a conversion past 90-day point, since Google actually only tracks click-through conversions, even offline conversions, past 90 days, it's essentially saying that if it's day 92 and you try to upload it, it'll actually give you an error. It'll say this conversion is too old, and it'll actually error out, and it won't apply to your campaign. You said you have an online yoga school that works with monthly subscription. People come in with a 14-day free trial, and afterwards they can cancel or stay and begin to pay the membership. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is if if you're uploading Gclid, what I would do is if you're importing those conversions and you have that's that 90-day window, I'm imagining they can sign and they sign up. Do they sign up manually or do they sign up online? If they sign up online, if it's manual, I would recommend having them sign up online. We do this with a lot of SaaS companies that have like 14-day and 21-day and 30-day free trials. Now you see here's the thing: if they don't cancel during the free trial, we have people staying in our school for years that ended up paying more, and people that cancel after their first, second month they sign up online. What you can do is have the online conversion be another conversion. So have one thank you page be the free trial, then the other thank you page being the full sign up. And then from an optimization standpoint, instead of Google, you can see where the free trials come in that also signed up as 2 different conversion actions. And then you can track the campaign, ad group, keyword ad, yada, 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 that generated that not only free trial, but also the good conversion. I would set that up as a conversion action inside of Google. This way, you can see not only the free trials, but what's the difference between a good free trial and a free trial that ended up going to a conversion, because those are going to be probably different keywords, or there's going to be overlap, but you're going to see, you might be able to save some money on some keywords that might just generate looky-loos that necessarily, don't ever stay. So hopefully that helps there. Hey, Michael, if I'm running smart shopping, are there still ways to do more of a custom remarketing campaign alongside to reach specific people who have not done specific actions? Yeah. If you're running a smart shopping campaign now, this is going to be a lot more effective when you run a ROAS goal. So when you have the ROAS goal turned on, you can, and let's say it's a 400% or 500%, that campaign is still going to be so powerful that it is going to suck up a lot of people that you might have a different dynamic remarketing or a different remarketing campaign that is going after those people with specific actions. So what I mean by that is if you have someone that says, they added to cart but didn't buy, and Google's like, yeah, I have a really good chance to get this person, your other remarketing campaign, even though it's targeting that person, may not get that impression, that click. What I'd recommend is you can run remarketing on YouTube and Discovery, which are areas that smart shopping does not play very frequently in. And that's one area that you can use. The other area would be run it on max conversions for those specific actions that you want. Because smart shopping is going to say, well, I don't believe that this person's going to buy at a 500% return on ad spend or more. But if your other remarketing campaign is set to maximize conversions or maximize conversion value, it says, well, I'll go after them. So you kind of get like the leftovers that smart shopping is not going to go after. And I find that to be a really good setup, because you get the ROAS, you get the volume, but then you also capture everything else. And it says, it basically saying if the remarketing campaign is not going to go after them, it means that smart shopping is, and smart shopping has a better chance of converting them. So you can set them up bothly. Just know that smart shopping is still going to be really aggressive. So as you set a higher and higher return on ad spend goal, you leave more for the remarketing that are doing those specific actions. Just know that it might not be 100% of those people, because there's still going to be good overlap of, yeah, I have a really good chance of buying. Smart shopping is going to be able to go after those people and convert it. The other part is you want to set your remarketing campaign to a good, set to a lower budget. Because since it is running maximize conversion value, you want to be aggressive with it. So you don't want to set like a target CPA or target ROAS, but set a maximize conversion value or maximize conversions. And what that's going to do is that's going to make that campaign super aggressive, but you might get conversions at bad ROAS because it is going after all the people that smart shopping is not. So just by nature of that being set up, your remarketing campaign may have lower ROAS. So just keep your budgets a little bit lower so that if you do make 1 or 2 sales, it's a good ROAS. It's not like, hey, I'm spending $500 a day and I'm getting 150 ROAS. Why is this doing so poorly? It's because it's overspending because it is so aggressive. Dave, hey Dave, hi John. If you have a campaign that's doing well, max conversions, and you start a new campaign targeting a new area, do you need to start over again, or can you can run with max conversions? The max conversions goes after goes after the history of that conversion action. It doesn't go after necessarily the history of the location. It does with audiences, but it still has a good amount of information I can learn. It says, well, these people with this demographic, with this age, gender, household income, that are searching these terms, and for that conversion action, that can simply transfer over to another area that will work okay. I would set to a little bit lower budget because it is going to be aggressive right off the bat. So set to a lower budget to start, but then start to raise up that budget as you start to see success. But yeah, you can absolutely leverage the conversion action because that's account setting, not necessarily a location or a campaign. It's the account. And that's what's cool, is the conversion action is account wide. And that's what maximize conversion does. Can I use maximize conversions to get this conversion? Not can I use it in that campaign or in this area? It's can I use this bidding strategy for that conversion action? So that's what's kind of nice about that, is it's account wide. A lot of questions following. All right, I'll do my best. Cecilia, we got that one here. Bohan, hi John, is YouTube a big lead generator for Solitaire? Do you get most of them through search ads? So YouTube is organically. We get most of our leads through search ads, just because if someone's looking for Google Ads agency, PPC marketing, SEM, whatever it may be, those are people that are looking to get in touch with someone now. YouTube has been great for us for organic lead generation, because we get like 3,000 or 4,000 views a week organically, because people are trying to find the answer to something, and then they end up finding that it might be a little too difficult, and then they contact us. So YouTube is good organically. It wasn't good paid. It can spend a lot of money very quickly, and you need a big budget if you want to use YouTube. However, in search ads, I'm paying $40 a click because I'm going after PPC agencies and they know what they're doing too. So it gets pretty expensive. So there's a little bit of a fine balancing. I'll pay for $40 a click for the people looking for me, And then YouTube just generates leads that are, good quality leads because they're looking for answers, and we have the answers a lot of times. So hopefully that helps. Jones, how much money should we invest in Google Smart Shopping every month for it to learn? If we have several countries like US, Canada, UK, can these countries share the whole? Usually what we find is Smart Shopping works best at $3,000 per country per month. That's it's $100 a day is where I usually see Smart Shopping learn. It's how to describe it. It's like a 1 + 1 = 3 above $100. Because what happens is when you start to limit the ad spend and then you're going in multiple countries, Google has to say, okay, learn multiple countries, learn the new people, learn the remarketing audiences as well, all for that small daily budget. And what it basically says is, well, if I just had an extra, $50 a day, I could remarket to all the new people that have been coming to the site rather than showing up for all the new people that are here for that one time. So Smart Shopping, as a good rule of thumb, you want to have your average cart value be at least $60 and above. That's usually good baseline, and at least $100 per day per country. I would also split out the countries individually. I do one campaign for US, one for Canada, one for UK, just because they are going to act much differently than each other. And for Google to kind of try to learn with a small budget, it will, but it'll take a long time if you're splitting $500 per month per country. It's just, that's what we've seen. And we have 60 campaigns. So it's something that, I have a campaign that has a company that sells fly fish tines, the tines for fly fishing, the lures. And we split out the Canada and the UK because Canada actually does about 3 times better than the US. And I found out that I can reallocate a lot of ad spend to Canada, get that one to scale, and then US started to grow into it. So it's easier to scale success when you don't have one country that might be sucking ROAS out of that campaign and spending a good amount of ad spend. Or should we set, so $1,500 per month. You could do that again. Just know that if you're under that $3,000, give it a long time. That's the thing, is because it needs to learn new users and existing users, and needs to have enough budget to learn both those audience with one daily ad spend. If you try to, group 3 countries in on top of that, it basically is like, hey, get 3 people from there, 2 people from there, and 6 people from there, and then try to remarket them, and then grab another, 3 and 6, and every hour. Like, it just gets a little bit of data each hour, and then it takes a while to learn. Hopefully that helps. Sal, hi there. Thanks for the massive value. I was just wondering how to best run standard shopping as a general testing campaign to see which are the best performers. Is it max clicks or manual CPC? Also, if my shopping campaigns aren't spending near my daily budget, should I up the bid? And how to choose the best bid for each product. So standard shopping, what you're going to find is going to be limited without some sort of dynamic remarketing. And that's where Smart Shopping really shines. But you can run standard shopping. Just know that you want to spend almost equally in a dynamic remarketing campaign at the same time, because standard shopping is going to be, I need to pay really high to be number one. I have to charge the least to get the sale because I'm only really in shopping, the PLA ads, the product listing ads. And then if I get that one shot and they leave, I need to try to bring them back. So you end up kind of running a Smart Shopping campaign anyway, just without the dynamic prospecting. So I would say for standard shopping, try to break them out by category. Use different product groups for different product categories, and then start to increase the bids. I run manual. By the way, maximize clicks usually performs lower position, which means they see everyone else first, and then you're just kind of last considered. So run manual. Continually increase the bids for all the products until you start to see that traction coming in. Just know that you're not doing any sort of smart bidding. So it's going to be like you're paying for those users that first time that they come to the site without remarketing. So definitely run a remarketing campaign. Look at search terms though. If you look at the search terms, you're going to find out what Google sees your feed as. And that's where you're going to probably find one of the largest amount of optimizations in standard shopping. Add a ton of negative keywords. Identify why your campaign is getting the keywords for the title and the descriptions that they are. So if it's like, hey, why am I showing up for that? You're going to have to figure out why your search terms may look odd. And it might be that your titles and your descriptions are having verbiage in there that's not really product specific. So that's just something to think about there. But yeah, I would segment it by product category. And this way you can kind of see what sort of product categories perform the best at what spends, and then you can adjust there. But in my opinion, if your feed looks good to go, I jump right into Smart Shopping immediately. It's gonna do all that stuff for you manually or automatically 10 times faster than we can. As a totally new website, how to build customer truth to increase conversion rate and still safe for GMC, not be suspended by GMC. GMC sometimes suspend the account for fake reviews. Yeah. What I would do is first need to aggregate those reviews. The best way that I've seen is to import your Google My Business reviews inside of your website. We've done this for ourselves. We've done it for our clients. Usually, if you're on like a WordPress site, you can get a plugin. If you're on a Shopify site, you can also get an app. But you're going to have to pull in those reviews from Google, the Google My Business, which are usually the best ones. People trust Google, Trustpilot, and what's the other one? ShopApproved. ShopApproved sometimes it gets a little expensive, a little buggy, so I like Trustpilot a little bit better than ShopApproved. But look at usually the best is Google. People really trust Google reviews. So if you can pull in a plugin or an app that displays that, on every page, like in the footer or as a pop-up on the left-hand side, that really instills customer trust. All right. So when our students get charged monthly, they don't go to a landing page because we already have their credit card details when they sign up for a free trial. One, they could get charged 3, 5, or 12 or 20 months. What do you suggest in this case? So I misunderstood. I thought that when they go from free trial to pay, they go to a different page on the website to sign up. That part is going to be tough. You can only track it if they sign up in the first 3 months, not the 5th or the 12th month. And I think that's kind of what you're saying. Cecilia, I think I don't quite understand. They could get charged for 3, 5, 12, or 20 months. Could you elaborate a little bit on that? And when they go from free trial to a sign up, that should be after the 14-day mark. And if you're saying you want to import all of the conversion value long term, you can't do that. The way that you could do that, though, is track it in the CRM by importing the UTM parameters. So what this means is that someone clicks on an ad and it goes into a CRM and they sign up as a free trial. You want to look at the UTM, term, campaign, and ad group, and then say, okay, well, they came from this campaign with that keyword and that ad group. And then you're going to have track offline, if they do sign up, how many months are they with you? And then you look at, well, what was the keyword that was used to bring that person that has the most longevity? You can't import that back into the campaign after 90 days. It's out. But you can track in the CRM tool to then go back into your Google Ads campaign and say, well, this keyword usually brings the best customers that pay the most money for the longest time. So I'm going to start to get more aggressive on that keyword. So importing UTM parameters into a CRM tool and analyzing that way, and then taking what you've learned and then apply it back to your campaigns, that's a really good method. Thanks, John. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. You got Dave. Mohammed, hey, John. Hope you're well. I'm doing really well, Mohammed. Thank you for asking. I hope you are as well. Hernan, hey, Hernan. Hey, John. Greetings. Hernan from Argentina. Hernan's an OG from our first 3x Shopify. Is the static landing page a good option for Google Smart Shopping? Any additional advice? One landing page per garment model. So I don't like landing pages because, especially for Smart Shopping, because Smart Shopping uses dynamic prospecting. So a lot of times they just pick 6 items and then show that to a user and say, do you like these items? These are all similar to what you've been looking at recently in the past on the web. So what I usually find out is that since Google is going to send a person to a product page anyway, the best thing to do is have that product page have the full navigation of your entire website so they can shop around. And then also have the customers almost bought or customers also viewed or other things that customers like, whatever it may be, put that at the bottom, right under, well, not the bottom, but like right underneath the image or video, the price and the CTA and the description, leave it there. Because what's nice about this is people can look at something like a garment, then they can scroll down and say like, oh yeah, I like those too. In Shopify, there's apps like that will do that for you. I forget exactly what it's called. But there's apps that are really good that show like, I think it's like similar product after whatever it may be. So it's really interesting that we're kind of mimicking Amazon. Think about it. Amazon will do that, and you've probably seen that before. It's like customers also bought this or combine these. So what I would say is for the individual landing page, yeah, you're going to have kind of a squeeze page, which is your product page. Just make sure it has full navigation, because Smart Shopping will actually do this too. it will actually, if you click on an ad in Smart Shopping, like one of your products, and buy something else, it attributes that value back to the original ad that they clicked on. So what looks like is selling in your Google Ads may not actually be selling, but you'll get the sale, you'll get the ROAS, you'll get the volume. It just may not be the product, but that was a product that was originally used to bring that person to the site. So make sure that you can give them a few different options, because you're going to find out what product has the best clicks and the most sales, regardless of what they buy. Just, you can't do that with like a single squeeze page without navigation. Say you can buy this or leave. They'll just leave. Hopefully that helps. I found YouTube ads did nothing for everyone I tried it with. Also heard you need a healthy budget. Yeah, we're running a campaign. I spent this month $250,000. I generated 7,000 leads at $35 cost per lead for a very large company. They work, but I spent $8,000 in 3 days to get it to the point where it's like, okay, now it's starting to generate conversions. The reason being, YouTube will work very well, but there's a few golden rules. First rule, it optimizes on clicks, not on views or impressions. So unless they click on that ad, Google does not learn anything. It'll just show it to the next person. So you have to have an ad with a good CTA, low barrier to entry, a lot of value driven offer, free webinar, ebook, white paper, discount, coupon codes. Those are things that apply to the masses, and it will get them to click. And then when Google sees a click, then they say, okay, what did they do? And then optimize from there. If no one clicks, it doesn't optimize. So if you don't have an ad that earns clicks, like if it's branding or if it's like bottom of the funnel, like, did you get in a car accident, hurt your left leg on Tuesday in a Chevy Tahoe? Call me. It's like, well, you're going to pay for the haystack to find the needle, because you're paying per impression. So having a wide-ranging CTA for the masses is very, very good, because if you get 1% of that target that you're going for, if you get 1% to click, that thing will optimize. But if you don't have a clickable CTA that applies to the masses with a good amount of investment to learn quickly, it's just going to take you a year on a small budget. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Dave. You need to have a good budget, and you need to give it time, and you need to run maximize conversions, and you need to pay out the nose in the beginning and invest in the campaign to learn. But then once you do, I was getting 200, 300, 400 leads a day in 10, 15, 20 grand. Because it's like, hey, we know the audience, and we know what people look like and who they are when they click and they opt in. I'll go find more people like that. And then target CPM, like, give me $30 leads. Like, all right, you spent 12 out of the 20 grand, but here's your $35 leads, and you get 727 of them. Like, sweet. So yeah, it can work really well. But wide cast CTA that applies to the masses with a low barrier to entry offer to earn the click, and don't go bottom of the funnel. It'll waste a lot of money. With the WhatsApp button for direct answers, I use WordPress. S-Rate would be the first test to experiment. Okay. Yeah, WordPress is, yeah, I would say that would be, just make sure you have full navigation. That's the biggest thing, because the full navigation is going to allow it to, have people find other things and then learn from that. So and then dynamically remarket the other product that we're interested in, which is what Smart Shopping does. So I would just, yeah, make sure you have full navigation. Simon, hey John, looking at new campaigns 2 weeks in, under tools settings, I'm seeing conversions with include conversion action set. However, I'm not seeing those conversions carry over to my keyword data. And depends on what version you're using. If you're using the new version, you need to make sure that the campaign, when you set it up, is going after those conversions. The new way that Google shows conversions is it can't be a secondary, it has to be a primary. So make sure it's set as a primary conversion action, not a secondary conversion action, and make sure that your campaign is set up to report against those. That's in the beginning settings. Again, I can't give you any quick tips to fix it, because it's just if it was set up one way or the other. If it's on the old version and it is included in conversions, and you're not seeing those conversions carry over to your keyword data, I've never seen that before. So that's very, very strange. If everything's set up correctly, and hold on, and Simon, I'll come back to this. Let me know, are you using the new one where when you set up a new campaign, it gives you the block? It's like, here's all of the categories, and this is all of the different conversion actions, and which ones should we choose? Let me know if you're using the new version or the old version. I can help a little bit more. I'm going to keep moving on though. Jones Camp, right now I'm using another feed app called Feed for Google Shopping to set up dynamic remarketing and conversion tracking. Does that work well as the Google channel one? I haven't tried that one actually. The Feed for Google Shopping, I've had the Google channel one. That was what I thought it was called, Feed for Google Shopping. Again, It should be, because it's pretty hard to mess up conversion tracking in Shopify. I just don't have any experience with it. I've always had the Google channel one that's always worked very, very well. The only time it doesn't work is if it places the conversion code too far down the page in the HTML and your page loads too slow. Like, let's say, as an example, the time to active under page speed insights will tell you how fast the site takes to load every single code. If that app places your conversion code too far down the page and your page takes 20 seconds to load, no one's going to stay on the thank you page for 20 seconds. Well, there will be, but you'll miss probably half the conversions. So if the people don't stay on that page for at least 20 seconds before that code fires, you're going to miss conversions. Analytics will see it because that's usually in the header. But that conversion code, depending upon where that app placed it, and depending upon your site speed, you could miss conversions. So that's the only thing that, of course, I don't know. Just look through your theme, find that conversion code, see where it's placed, and if you can, just move it up to like before the closing head, or right after the opening body tag. That'll be high up on the page. So hopefully that helps. Hey John, if you have $100 a day budget in smart shopping and Google is only spending 50, do you start a second standard shopping campaign? What are your thoughts? Dave, are you using a ROAS goal? It sounds like you're using a ROAS goal. If you are, I'd turn your ROAS goal off and then set your daily budget to like 70. That'll get you to spend more. But just let me know, because I can't be sure. Just let me know if you're using a ROAS goal. Michael Johnson, what biz strategy would you recommend for generating leads for child care centers? Target CPA. Target CPA favors Gmail ads. Target CPA favors Gmail emails. So take that with a grain of salt. What that means is that it depends on volume. What I would try first is run manual with enhanced CPC, then switch over to maximize conversions for a time, then switch over to target CPA. I'd only try target CPA for lead generation. Target CPA pure broad e-commerce all day long. Lead quality is not a factor in e-commerce. Is they buy or do they not buy? That's a really clear indicator. You can have lead quality issues too low placement. So I would test lead quality on manual first. I run our campaigns on manual just because if I know that if I'm like the number 3rd and 4th, I get the lead, but they're junk. So that's why I pay $40 a click. So with lead quality being tied to position most often, run manual first, find out what position your lead quality is good at, and then reverse engineer target CPA based on your conversion rate percentage. So for example, if you are running, let's say I'm just gonna use round numbers for real quick. If you're getting, $100 leads and your cost per click is $25 and you have a 25% conversion rate, set your target CPA to like 30, 35, because it's going to not try to restrict too much. Target CPA is a restriction model. So it says how many clicks, if I'm down here, I can get more clicks for my daily budget and I'll probably get a lead. Well, you'll still get a lead and Google will still see a lead, but if the lead quality is bad, it's like, hey, I don't care. I'm just going to maximize that, and I'm just going to try to do that more often. And then you got to redo everything anyway. So run manual first with enhanced CPC. Find out what position gives you the best quality. I can't tell you how many times people come through and I'm like, yep, Google, PPC agency, and you were number 1, so that's why I chose you. Like it's a big deal. So I would start there. Manual CPC, enhanced, find the position, tie to lead quality before doing anything automated, because automated will just maximize junk leads. So just with lead quality being a factor, try that first. Alex, hi John. Would you recommend smart shopping for supplements since Google doesn't allow remarketing to supplements? Google does allow remarketing for supplements. We have a lot of companies that run supplements, and it will absolutely remarket. The issue is, it's not that Google won't remarket for supplements. It's that Google doesn't like supplements and will a lot of times disapprove because one ingredient in the supplement is not approved. I'd recommend reaching out to a company called Legit Script, LEGITSCRIPT, Legit Script. They can actually work with Google to approve your entire feed, and Smart Shopping will remarket to them. If your account has been disapproved in the audiences, start a new account. As long as it's not suspended, start a new account. But before you run anything, contact legit script. It might be a few $1,000s. I think it was like $3,000 or $4,000, but they got like, we went from 1,700 approved items to like 7,000. It cost us, I think, like $4,000. Everything, remarketing, everything worked fine. It's not that it doesn't like remarketing, it doesn't like the ingredients. And if those ingredients are medical or, you know, those type of health related issues, it might just immediately suspend it. So I'd start over, contact legit script, tell them what you're doing and see if they can help you. That would be my first thing, because it can work really, really well. I've seen it work really well. I have clients that work really well on it, even in like Australia. But just, you have to do it the right way from the beginning. You kind of just try to force it through and Google suspends you or Google disapproves your remarketing audiences, you got to start over. So hopefully that helps. Hernan, thank you, John, for your help. You got it. Thanks for the stream, John. You got it. John, if you advertise to different countries or different languages in different countries, you need different Google shopping campaigns. For example, US and Mexico, to use one account for both. I'm scared that Google might suspend your account if you have an IP relocator, because essentially you're advertising the same page on 2 different accounts or campaigns. Do you still work on negative keywords if you use an automated bid strategy? Okay, a couple things. For the different countries, what we found is that you need in your shopping campaign, well, let me back up. Your website needs to dynamically change to different languages. I'm sure everyone's been to the website where you can select the country and then it updates the language. You need that. And then you also need to have the UTM send over a UTM underscore language equals ENG, and then have the website trigger from the UTM what language to display. If you can do that, what you'll want to do is then you'll want to run separate shopping campaigns to separate versions of the feed in those different languages. So you don't show an English feed in a Spanish-speaking country and vice versa. It does take a little bit of work. Separate the feed, change languages in the feed, have the page dynamically update the language based on the UTM. I forget exactly. I've seen that done many, many times. Shopify has an app for it. There's a WordPress plugin for it. There's a lot of support for CMS. I don't know. I'm not a web developer, so I don't know your exact CMS. Hopefully you have a web developer that can investigate this for you. But if you use UTMs that trigger the language setting, your campaign is already targeting a country that's sending over the UTM so that your website updates to Spanish speaking, and then the Spanish speaking feed is shown in the Spanish speaking group. So again, recap, 2 separate feeds in 2 separate languages. A website that dynamically can change the language based on the UTMs, and then send over the specific UTMs per shopping campaign. That's the best way to do it that I've seen. Works really, really well. Hopefully that helps. I'm scared Google might suspend your account if you have an IP relocator, because essentially, yeah, I wouldn't. Google's probably going to pop something. Misrepresentation or something like that is probably, and Google doesn't care. It's just like, well, we don't like that, so just pop whatever is most relevant error, and then just you figure it out. So just know that there's a risk there. Do you still work on negative keywords if you use an automated bidding strategy? Oh yeah. Can't in smart shopping, obviously, but you can run standard shopping for a long period of time, add negative keywords, start to get conversions to come in, then switch over to smart shopping, and that will continue on with the negative keyword adjustments as it does it on its own. If you're using like target CPA, maximize conversions, whatever it may be, you can still use negative keywords. Just know that if you're running a pure broad campaign, add your negatives in phrase or exact, because if you add a pure broad negative keyword to a pure broad positive keyword, you're going to just exclude that topic. So if I'm going after a red shoe in my search campaign on pure broad, and someone types in, you know, red velvet shoe, and I add that as a negative keyword, it says don't go after shoes or red or velvet, and it's like, well, I just killed half my audience. So just don't add a negative keyword as a broad to a broad, because broad can go really wide when you're targeting, but broad can also go really wide when you're negative. So just know that the damage could be done pretty bad when you add negative to a big campaign. If I'm showing up in search terms for other brand names, if I'm showing up in search terms for other brand names, plus my product title, do I add as a negative keyword or do I leave it, given that I'm getting clicks from those keywords but no sales yet? The other brand names in your product title, that's interesting. Best thing I would say, just go generalized rule of thumb, keep it going until you say I've spent too much money and it's just not happening. So I guess use your best judgment there. If you start to get some sales, I don't know how long it's been, but if you start to get some sales, leave it on. But if you see that it's a pretty big impression and you're getting a lot of clicks and you're spending a lot of money on it, and you're not getting sales, just add it as a negative keyword. I guess just wait to the results, whatever you feel comfortable with, and maybe maximum 30 days, unless it's just eating up half your budget, then shut it off. But use your best judgment there. Thank you so much, John. Yes, that's what I meant. After the free trial to begin, they get charged monthly as long as they decide UTM parameters sound like a good option, even if it can't. Yeah. So this way, at least you know, and then you can adjust, but you're just not gonna let Google do it. But after day 91, you have to do it that way, just because you can't import that back into Google. Which CRM would you recommend that can work with CRMs? Which CRM would you recommend that can work with CRMs? I just as a good general rule of thumb, I like HubSpot because the integration that they have with Google Ads works really, really well. You can actually monitor your Google Ads campaigns inside of HubSpot. And inside of HubSpot, you can click on like ads, and then it's like, here's your Google Ads campaign. You click on that campaign. It's like, this campaign has 1,000 impressions, 100 clicks. It generated 3 leads. And here's those 3 people. And you can click on those 3 leads and see those 3 people right there. And then the UTMs are tied to them. So HubSpot for ease of use, it is expensive, but it just works. And I highly recommend it. I have the least problems with HubSpot and Go High Level. Go High Level is fantastic. It's a little bit, I wouldn't say it's not less user-friendly. That's not the right word. It's just a little bit more of a learning curve. So if that helps. But HubSpot is fairly simple. Go High Level is really great. But you know, I would say for like a novice, HubSpot's pretty plug and play. I like that a lot. Is there any difference between GTIN and UPC? I just purchased some UPC. Nope, GTIN is a UPC. So you can use the UPC where your GTIN field is. You can use that. Would you recommend getting the lifetime value of our paying customers who stay after the free trial, then import that back into Google Ads? Well, within 90 days, the LTV, regardless of how much. Yeah, I would say that just because what's nice is you can see what keywords you should focus on. So import as much as you possibly can until you can't anymore, and then confirm in the CRM tool later on that that's still the case. Like they did stay, past 91 days and maybe out to a year, and then make your adjustments accordingly. We've been running Smart Shopping for 3 months, and our ROAS is hitting our break even at 1.33. Should we turn on T-ROAS and set it to 1.33 or set it a lot higher? Well, it depends, Alex. There is, I got about 12 minutes left, so I'm gonna try to get through as much as I can right now. It depends on your budget. I've seen actually that you can start to increase budget while leaving target return on ad spend off, and you'll get a better ROAS because Google has more money to work with, and it gets smarter, faster, stronger, and actually continues on there. If you haven't hit day 90, don't turn on a ROAS goal. I know it's 90 in 3 months, but just as a general rule of thumb, if you haven't hit day 90 just yet, don't turn it on. Turn it on after day 90. But look at your product list and see what's selling. If you hit a 1.33 ROAS goal, just know that everything below 1.33 will shut off. So sometimes you can turn on a ROAS goal and actually dips because it says, well, we used to get 2 and we used to get 1, which equaled about 1.5, but now you told us not to go after the 1s. So I'm only going after the 2s. So all of a sudden your campaign volume cuts in half because now it's only going after the highs, not a mix between the highs and lows. So what I would do is start to scale budget first. Do it incrementally, 10 to 15%, 10% would be best every week, and just watch it go up because if you hit a ROAS goal right now, probably going to cut your conversion volume in about half. So I recommend scaling first, then turning on ROAS goal, because if you double your scale and then turn it on and it cuts in half, then you're good to go. But I always scale first. So just take that as a, if you're already getting it, just start to increase ad spend because your ROAS might go up at the same time. Did you do maximize conversions first and target CPA once it gets enough conversions at large on YouTube? Yes. Yeah, maximize conversions, and I was paying out the no's for those, but I was limiting the spend. So I spent $500 to $1,000 a day, and I had 12 campaigns, and $500 to $1,000 a day each on maximize conversions, so that didn't blow out like 10 grand on one campaign with way too high of CPA. But once I started to get about 10, 20, 30 conversions, then I started switching on target CPA high, about 20% high, then lowered it down to my goal, and then scaled the budget. Do you think you can sell almost every product profitable on Google Shopping by lowering the bids as far as it gets? Of course, at some points, no, not at all. No, I really don't. Only because if you're the last to be considered, you'll earn the click, but you're not going to earn the conversions that a higher position would. And that's like, I haven't been able to break that. And I've tried every optimization trick you can in the book. I just know that you get just lower quality clicks, and your conversion rate decreases as your position lowers. So I would just say no, just because there's a reason why Google set up that bid. It's like they give the quality traffic to the higher CPCs. So you could try it, but I highly doubt that'll work. Dave says no ROAS goal. Dave, let's see here. Oh yeah, no ROAS goal, Dave. You know what's odd is that almost sounds like a feed issue. Yes, start a standard shopping campaign and check the search terms. If your search terms don't look relevant at all, optimize the feed first. It might be like Google just is not seeing it. The other part is if your average cart value is below 50, Google sometimes won't scale. So a way to trick that is adding a conversion value modifier to just new traffic that is close to LTV. So what that means is that if you're spending X for a new conversion, say a new conversion is worth $25 more, then when it sees those new conversions, it'll actually start to scale. I took a campaign from like $40 a day up to $500 a day in like 3 days doing that. So use the optimizing for new and existing, and then new customer value. Click on that, and then add some LTV thereof if you have like 2 or 3 purchases. And then when it sees those new conversions, it'll actually say, "Oh, we're making some money," and then it'll start to scale. So that also could be the issue. There's like 1,000 issues: site speed, feed quality, conversion trigger. There's a lot of things. Just try those first, just because it's something that could be a lot of different things. Let's see. Can dynamic search ads work for drop shipping now that Google suspend our merchant centers for no reason? Yeah, dynamic search ads can always work. You're probably suspended for some other reason though. It wouldn't be for drop shippers at all. I have a lot of drop shipping clients, so it's not that Google suspended your merchant center for possibly no reason other than you're a drop shipper. It depends on, and you say, I know it's Butt Daddy is your name. Could you drop in what the suspension reason is and let me know? Simon, I'm not sure what version to be honest, but where you set up conversions, I see website, app, phone calls, import. I'm tracking phone calls and visits to thank you page after form fill. Yeah, that's I don't know, honestly, Simon. There's a lot. I'd have to really investigate and dig. I don't know if I could do that on the call. I would try using Google Tag Manager, because Google Tag Manager, rebuild your conversion tracking in Tag Manager. Then use the preview mode in Tag Manager and see if your tag's not firing. That'd be the first thing I would do, is rebuild in Tag Manager. Install Tag Manager in the header, set up your tags and triggers in Tag Manager, use preview mode, run a test purchase, and see if that tag fires. If it doesn't fire, reach out to Google's tag implementation team. That would be the first thing I would look at. How does your partner keep his hair so healthy and luxurious? He uses coconut oil and baby oil mixture 3 times a day, and he uses banana leaves on his hair. That's, I think, how he gets it so shiny. That was Cosm, by the way. Could you recommend ways for advertising digital agency? Hire us. Just kidding. Well, actually, I'm not kidding. You can hire us. But could you recommend? So honestly, for digital agency, Google Ads is where it's at. And I'm biased because I'm a Google Ads agency co-owner. So I would recommend definitely running Google Ads, but it is expensive. We spend like 30, 40 grand a month. So yeah, it's a hard game to play because you're going after other digital agencies. So, but we found that Google Ads has been the best, because would you pay $20 to put yourself in front of a person looking for you? Inbound search is where it's at. Okay, a couple more here. In regards to the JavaScript, our product is approved in Merchant Center Google Ads, but our dynamic remarketing in Merchant Center is disapproved. Were you saying that they can get Merchant Center approved? Yes. Yeah, I contact them first. They've been able to do, I don't know whose cousin works at Google from LogicScript, but they were just like, yep, everything's approved. You're all up and running. I'm like, how did you do that? Like, they have some in with Google, and Google trusts them, and Google actually says, Google recommends them as a company. So contact them first, just see if they can help. Because otherwise you're going to go through the, like, can I trick Google forever? And that's yeah, you're going to spend $4 grand trying to figure it out. So I would contact them first for sure. Greetings from Germany, Christian. Top content and tips as always. Thank you, Christian. Happy to have a worldwide viewership here. It's pretty cool. It's exciting. The magic of YouTube. I have about 2 minutes left. You can't remarket to them because they would give away their health history as they browse the web. if someone uses their computer, Bohan, that's technically true, and that's what Google's interpreting. However, if it's a dietary product and it's not necessarily health related, Google will automatically look at every supplement as a health, and then it will disapprove it. That's what Google defaults to. Legit Script can get that reapproved. And that's what I've seen. And because we've had an issue where Smart Shopping would run, but it would not have a remarketing audience. It was always misconfigured. Then our misconfigured setting went to eligible. It happened once for us that I saw it in real time. And then I heard of another company that did it too. But it will essentially say that these are not any sort of like Schedule I narcotics or prescriptions. They are dietary supplements that is not FDA approved that help support. So for whatever reason, they got it approved. All I would say is just reach out to them, because I did this for a year and a half, trying every single trick in the book, uploading only 10 at once. And all of a sudden, like 3 weeks later, 20 would get disapproved. I'm like, start a new campaign and then start to remarket. All of a sudden, boom, everything would get disapproved. So I ran into this issue multiple times, repeatedly, where Legiscript fixed it perfectly. So take that. If you want to reach out to them and have that miracle happen that I had happen for me, go ahead. If not, you're going to be same thing that was kind of I was stuck in, where it just kept having that same issue. So, I'll leave it to you. Sorry, and my question before I went UTMs this year. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would still recommend HubSpot, just because HubSpot has it directly integrates with the UTMs. It actually places its own UTMs that it needs inside of your campaign for you through the integration. So again, it does that for you. And then just says, hey, this is the campaign keyword ad group and ad that it was used to generate this lead. And by the way, here's the name of the lead and what happened. So yeah, it's pretty plug and play. Just for your help, hello, my Google Ads conversion tracking for conversion ad is showing unverified. Does it automatically verified or verified when there will be any conversions, or I have to do it? So way to get it unverified to verified is either make a test purchase or fill out the form, whatever conversion tracking you're following. The best way to do it is when you're using Tag Manager, run through preview mode and then run through that that test lead or test purchase. And then within about 10 minutes after that, you'll see that unverified go verified. So that's the best way to do it. But just run through the test purchase or run through the a test lead, and that will actually get it. I have like 1 minute left. Thank you for the recommendations. You're welcome. Your conversions will verify one. Yep. Yep. Exactly. Bohan, either when someone buys or clicks on that, but you can do it yourself. Hi, Kasim. I also have long hair. What's your secret? Thanks. Kasim's secret is extremely humid weather in Phoenix keeps his hair moisturized. It is dry as a bone out here. It's a desert. I think it is that banana leaves, really. All right. I know that there's a few. Anything comes in after that, I can't answer. So I'm going to answer just what's here. I'm so sorry, everyone. How do you start a new Google Ads account for e-commerce stores? I do Google Shopping, DSA. I wouldn't do YouTube. I wouldn't do retargeting because your Google Shopping is going to do that. But I'd run brand, test competitor, inbound search broad, DSA, Smart Shopping. Those are the 5. Using Tag Manager and tags of firing. No worries. I'll do. Contact Google. I know it's stupid, but contact Google, because sometimes they're like, oh yeah, we had an issue and now it's cleared up. So if everything looks fine, contact Google's tag implementation team, have them dig in. It's a free service. Takes about 3 days to get back to you. But they'll go through and say like, yep, nope, this is here. They are masters and they do it for you. So contact Google tag implementation team, just have them look into it. It's free. Thank you, John. You're very welcome. John, excited to see you and Cosmo at TNC. Can you nudge Julianne about the pass, please? Aaron Brown. Cosmo, still watching? Aaron Brown says, can we nudge Julianne? Also, I will shoot you Slack, Cosmo about Aaron. For how many days should we test maximize conversions? Add from form fill. I would test it at least 2 months. If you're getting conversions. If you're not getting any conversions, but within 30 days, switch over to manual and figure out what might be going on. Just make sure your conversion tracking is working. Who says human error is not right? It's like 4 percentile of humidity. It's like, air evaporates like as it falls out of the glass in your mouth. Like you just drink nothing. It's that dry. Yeah, I'm in Vegas, so I know the weather perfectly. Yeah. Cosmo does have some nice flowing locks. Thanks, John. Can't tell you how much I appreciate this channel. Very welcome. Some days I think Cosmo is Jason Momoa, probably. Thanks, everyone. I really appreciate it. Bye.